Good morning, everybody. We are live. Good afternoon from wherever you may be tuning in from. I see we got Real Ice Bear in the house already. So amazing to see you here. We've got not so action-packed Wednesday, but we have a lot to talk about as we're getting ready for the rate cuts for Jerome Powell's decision on whether or not he will reduce the rates today. And we'll read the expectations for that. And we'll talk a little bit about how that's going to affect crypto in general. So that's what we're going to get into today and more. And also we're going to have a look at updates at Total 3. We're going to see what Bitcoin's doing and how this can all just really impact the market in the near term. But I'm also going to have you zoom out like I like to do. And we're going to talk about how this is going to impact the market in the long run. So I have some really exciting videos for you today from the founder of Cardano, also one on an XRP prediction that was given in the New York Stock Exchange that is pretty wild, okay, because I like to mix the long-term vision and keep making sure we understand where we're headed. Every day I want to check in with you guys. Do you remember what's at stake? Do you remember where we're going? Why you got into this, okay? But then we're going to zoom in and give you the practical information that you need right now and what the charts are telling us with Trip from the Capital Mindset Trading Group. We're here every single day, Monday through Friday, giving you the alpha. So if you like that, smash the like button and do please share this stream and so we can grow and reach as many people as possible. So Christina, what's up in the house? Mucker, hello. Crypto, let's see, Mr. Zeminski, crypto will pump if a rate cut is announced today. Yeah, I mean, that would be the logical thing to think, but it's just packed full of volatility, okay? It's always volatile. It might be like a quick dump and then another pump. It could be a wick up to the upside and then a continued dump. I mean, it's actually been pretty, you can toss a coin and you don't know which way it's going to go. So it gets pretty volatile around these rate cuts. So I will read what the expectation is. Spoiler alert, BlackRock thinks nothing will change. And that is in the cards. But yeah, long term, I'm also going to say what happens long term to crypto per the title, which is could rate cuts supercharge crypto? And the answer is absolutely they could. It is a huge possibility. It could be like pouring gasoline on the fire. But I want to remind you of what happened during the dot-com boom, because during these times of insane innovation and all these technologies converging and everything happening, it's important to look back in time when this happened last. Where were the rate cuts then? What happened then? And I'm gonna give you those exact stats right now when we had the dot-com boom, so you can actually get that perspective, right? So like I said, we're going to zoom out. We're going to look at some fun videos. We're going to get ready. We're going to do market rate, Fed rate, cut rate talk. Okay. And we're going to look at the markets with Trip to see what we could be in for. So RCal, let's go with the rate cuts. Let's go. I mean, we know it's going to happen. It's inevitable, right? It's just a question of when. Good morning, Mimis. How you doing? And Andrew, Polymarket tweeted out that Bank of America has a 0% chance of rate cuts this year against Polymarket's 80% chance. Okay. So you're talking this year. I mean, I think it's highly likely that he cuts this year. But yeah, I mean, Polymarket was right about the election, right? They've been right about a lot of stuff. So that's an interesting gap there from 0 to 80. Good morning, Graham. How's it going from New Zealand? You made it. What's up? What's up? I'm glad you made it. The rate cuts aren't happening today, and I'm watching to see if we can short. Okay. Yeah, it gets very volatile. So when Trip takes over for his portion, it'll be just before the rate cut. I believe it's in just about an hour and 10 minutes from now. So yeah, we'll try to get you as prepared as possible. But again, the expectation is that it's going to go unchanged, and we'll see. Will we have volatility anyway off the back of that? Yeah. Possibly. I mean, possibly. Good morning, Hopium Days. Hopium, Real Ice Bear. You know it. I'm going to inject you with Hopium long term, give you that perspective, help you just keep your head in the game, guys. That's my job, is to help you keep your head in the game based on previous cycles, based on the potential here, which is absolutely astounding. And maybe we're at the point of a very asymmetrical opportunity where, we can have the opportunity to buy this dip, average in during these, bull market dips. Positioning ourselves for the next 5 years, which could be set to absolutely boom, right, over the long term. So let's see, late here, but you're not late, actually, Dan. Today you are not late. We were late. Sorry about that, guys. We're trying to stream at 6, but based on how many people are in the chat, this might actually be a better time for us to stream. Sorry, I'm saying 6 p.m. because I'm in Spain. So that is 12:30 EST. So that might actually be a better time. Let me know if it is, and we'll just change that to that time. Let's see. Rate cut will cause retail to flood in, thinking they're front running the market as they buy the last leg up. I don't know how much retail actually pays attention to rate cuts. Honestly, I think that could be our bubble and people interested in finance. Potentially. I mean, yeah, they could. They could. We'll talk about that too. Good morning from Cali. Another person from Cali. What up, Michael? What up? Les, GM, Megan, I don't think we'll have rate cuts unless Trump uses reverse psychology on Powell. I don't want you to cut the interest rates. Yeah, maybe he's doing the wrong thing. Maybe he actually needs to go to Powell and say, please do not cut rates. That is absolutely not what I want. And we'll get what we want, right? I like that. I like that. I want them high. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, Midas Mindset. It's a Midas Mindset kind of day. Morning from Cali. A lot of Cali people. I like to see that. I'm originally from Cali, from Ventura. Went to school in Santa Barbara. If you guys know, or you're SoCal people, let me know. Even NorCal, love that too. Lots of love for you. So yeah, as we're getting ready to check those rate cuts out, I do want to get into some fun videos, but I'm going to change. Let me know if you can hear me a little bit better. Sorry, I just started with the wrong mic. So you should be hearing me even better now. Zach, I don't think retail will be involved this cycle. It's big money this time. Most people are poorer now than 4 years ago. I understand the sentiment on that, Zach. If we start to cut rates and conditions change, and when we get that mass euphoria of, like your mom is calling your grandma, your friend that you haven't talked to since high school, asking about crypto, I do think that will come. It just hasn't come yet. But, it generally does come at the end of the cycles. Remember what I said, the last 80%, the 80% of the gains come in the last 20% of the cycles, typically in a 4-year cycle. That's what's happened in the past. And I showed you data in the last stream to sort of back that up, right? But retail doesn't even know what rate cuts are. Exactly. I just think they literally, we talked about this yesterday, they literally see what they get in the news. And you get completely different news if you're a Republican versus a Democrat. And there's a lot of fear mongering and crypto is a scam. And then you've got Jim Cramer, who just came out and said, buy HBAR. Okay, so all you HBAR fans, I'm thinking maybe we're going to get a nice little discount here, as the counter indicator. But yeah, let's see. Andrew, retail doesn't even know what rate cuts are. I've asked people who only use Robinhood and they're clueless. Yeah, I mean, they're just like, what price is it now? They don't know what price Bitcoin is at now. So for some reason, they're not getting that, mass euphoria that happened last time when Bitcoin was at all-time highs. It just feels like it's become the new norm. And in a way that is actually really good, right? But like I said, I think they'll start to come in when we hit that euphoria, when all of the media outlets are like, Bitcoin's at 180K, heading to 200. I don't know, but it will come. I'm confident it will come. Dan, better now on audio. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Crypto Stacks, morning, everybody. I'm just so pumped. Let's get some market talk going. But before then, all right, let's just set the tone a little bit, because Charles Hoskinson in our podcast said the Simpsons got one thing wrong, in that they thought a blue-collar worker, middle class, with a job that Homer had, could never afford a 4-bedroom family home on his income and his stay-at-home wife, something like that. So they didn't account for the fact that fiat was going to zero, right? Fiat was collapsing. But Family Guy did. This is what Family Guy had to say. So let's check this out.
Savings get smaller and... Damn it, it didn't work. We're still poor. Peter, every month our savings get smaller and smaller. We really got to figure out a better way to budget for this family's future.
Bitcoin.
What?
I don't know.
Do you think that's how it happens in the household, guys? Do you think that like crypto orange-pilled people, they just suddenly mention it and becomes a conversation? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Adoption is a strange thing. It happens. I'll say this again. Adoption feels slow and gradual until in hindsight, it looks explosive. It's the seed planted in the minds of everyone until it starts to sort of populate and become the new norm, right? Oh, how did you, stop staying poor? Oh, I got into Bitcoin and then I started making these returns. And then, I was eventually beating inflation. And I'm really interested in these topics. I'm very interested in the macro scale of things, very much so. Let's have another meme for this Wednesday morning. All right, Bitcoin is for tax avoidance, money laundering, terrorism financing, and it's a pet rock. JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon here. And then we've got now the most recent news, Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan partners with Coinbase to offer Bitcoin to customers. It's inevitable. They all will come around. It used to be rat poison. Okay, all these things. And we've withstood all of the deaths of Bitcoin over time, all for this moment. in which we find ourselves right now. This exact moment is what we've been waiting for, right? And it's happening. It's happening now in a big, big way. And these next 5 years are going to be transformational. So don't forget that when you're having tough days or when the market is boring or sideways. I mean, we got time, right? We have patience. We made it this far. All of you who made it this far, you have the patience. So just keep going. That's what happened in my home, says Dan. Even my kids are investing. Oh my goodness, Dan, your kids are so smart. Actually, you're a smart parent because you're getting your kids involved. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And the kids will adopt this technology much faster than adults. That's for sure. They already are. It'll be like second nature for them. So this is fun to see. Let's get into some of the news for the day. We've also got Treasury Secretary Bessent says he is not expecting the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates today, along with BlackRock. So yeah, that's what I was reporting on earlier. And this is the news about JP Morgan, right? $4 trillion JP Morgan partners with Coinbase to make buying crypto even easier, when just a few years ago, they said they would fire any employee that invested in it. You know, that's like the fight you stage, right? We made it through the fight you stage and the laugh at you stage, and now they just want to beat you. All right, correct me on that phrase if I'm wrong, but you guys know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. We made it through all those phases of when you're a trailblazer and you're first, and then they all want to like drag you down and claw at their old system and stuff. And now we're starting to reach the point of getting to the other side of that, which is absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to read some news, and then I'm going to give you 2 videos on wild price predictions, okay, for the future from Cardano founder and also from XRP investor. So let me just do that now. I'm going to share my screen to share some of that relevant news before we get into rates. And I do want to share this, okay? This is the official expectation. So markets expect the FOMC to keep the federal funds rate at 4.25% to 4.5% on July 30th. No rate changes anticipated due to persistent inflation and tariff uncertainties. Attention will focus on Fed Chair Powell's press conference for signals on future rate cuts. So don't forget, it's not just the actual rate cut announcement. It's also then the minutes and where he talks. And it's like, is he dovish? Is he hawkish? Meaning, is he like talking favorably or not favorably about rate cuts? That's very important as well. So we're going to cover that as we get that news. You guys, also, we were supposed to get the Bitcoin reserve strategic reserve details today, and seemingly there's nothing out there. If you've been able to find something, let us know. But we haven't been able to find that document with the details on that anywhere yet. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, but we're waiting for that. And as soon as we get it, we will report on it. This is what I was talking about. This is super interesting, okay? Interest rates during the dot-com boom. I know I already went over this, but for those of you who missed it or just need a reminder, we don't need rate cuts for Bitcoin to absolutely crush it, right? We don't need that. But like I said, if that comes in addition to this and all of this innovation is happening, that could be the catalyst for potentially, guys, right? How it could play out. Throwing alcohol on the fire. I mean, that just create a perfect storm, right? So these are the interest rates during the dot-com boom, and they were very high, between 4.75 and 6.5%, right? And we pumped it in spite of that. So that was because of massive tech optimism. Investors believe internet companies would dominate the future, often ignoring fundamentals like profitability. That's pretty much. I can relate to that in our sector. Equity market euphoria, IPOs, especially tech-related, exploded. Many companies went public. And that's what's happening now with all the micro strategies. Jack Mallard just came out, right? That's some other news that I'm going to share now when I share my screen. In fact, I'll share that right now. Just give me a second here. So we have here Watcher Guru. I'm just going to go over and see if there's anything else of importance. Michael Saylor says Bitcoin is digital energy. You know, Michael Saylor is out there all the time on all different channels, finding all different ways to try to get people to understand this. And he's really great at breaking it down, right? And he's unapologetic, and he gets pretty crazy, wild predictions. But it's, in essence, what Tim Draper told me, who's a friend, a legendary Bitcoin investor, and my podcast is on his show. And he said, you know, when I invested and I bought 30,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road that was like obtained from the government, seized from the government, he bought it in auction for $600. It went down to $300 like 2 weeks later. And he's like, I'm either the dumbest in the room, or this thing's either going to zero or it's going to infinity. And so I'm going to hold it out because I believe in it. That is conviction. That is early stage investing at its finest, right? So now all the others are starting to catch on, and there's no really other notorious news. This is what I wanted to point out. Jack Mallard says, no man should work for what another man can print. And now he's gone all over the news saying he wants to be the best, the top holding. So his 21 has instantly become the third largest Bitcoin treasury, and the Bitcoin treasury race is heating up. That's right. Countries are piling in Bitcoin treasuries, now ETH treasuries. All right, so things are getting crazy. As far as crypto predictions, before I pass it on over to Trip, I got a few more things to show you, and then we'll get into the charts, okay? So first off is this guy, Dom, EZA, okay? He went on the news and in the New York Stock Exchange and literally was giving a price prediction of 1,000 XRP. I forget what year it was from, but this is what he said. He says, yes, I really said it. It's a minute 6:53. So it was $1,000 by 2030. So, I mean, and he's got all his reasons here, but this Dom guy, he's a co-founder of EZA app and EZA Labs, and he used to work at Blackstone and Goldman Sachs. And so these are the predictions he's been able to come up with based on like the volume he projects and the banks. Oh, there was another interesting news piece about like banks settling off the XRP ledger. That's why it doesn't account for as high a volume as it should. Anyway, I'll do a whole episode on XRP when we do our XRP update. But don't forget, we are doing our XRP trading competition on BYDFI. The link's in the description below. So sign up to that if you want to take part in that. And we're posting all kinds of XRP charts and different setups in the group. And yeah, that's a really fun way to ride it out. And also the link to the trading group, the Capital Mindset, is in the description. I want to remind you to take action today. Today is the day. Where you foster your skills, you invest in yourself, you get a 10% discount for being part of the Crypto Megan community, and it is on Telegram. We will be coming out with Patreon hopefully next week. I know I keep saying this, but there's a lot happening in the background, so hopefully Patreon next week. And before I set you guys up with Trip, sorry, I'm going to get rid of this now. I am just going to play this video from Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson, okay, on where he believes that Cardano could be going in the future. So this is just to keep your macro mindset sharp while then we tune into Trip, and he keeps it real and lets you know what's going on right now. Okay, so last video, let's have a look.
We can make less money.
Okay.
Oh, why don't you just convert all your ADA to Bitcoin? It's like, okay, so we can make less money as an ecosystem.
You think ADA will still outperform BTC in the future?
Of course, because how much farther can Bitcoin go? Maybe to 1 million. Okay, it's a 10x. ADA can go 100x, 1,000x over this. It's like, guys, we're not a second-class citizen. Cardano does substantially more, and because of Bitcoin DeFi, it's going to end up probably being the yield layer of Bitcoin, and so it's going to get a huge halo effect from that. And because of the launch model of Midnight, partner chains are going to bring in airdrops almost annually to ADA. So you're like making the case for holding ADA. It's like if you hold ADA, you're going to get Night tokens. Night could be a $10 billion product right out of the gate. And 50% of the supply is being allocated to ADA holders. And every year, these things are going to be dropped.
Okay, so 50% of the Midnight supply being allocated to ADA holders. I do know the Midnight team pretty well, some of them, and I think it's cool what they're doing. We're actually discussing potentially doing an integration for ATH vodka. And if, you know, that'd be pretty cool if that's the case. Let me know what you think about 100 and 1,000x Cardano. I mean, Charles's whole theory is that ADA will overtake Bitcoin one day. So let me know what you think about that in the chat. So you guys ADA fans, are you ADA holders? Are you excited for ADA? Let's see, before we get into Trip, if we have anything else. What's up, Media Mott? Welcome to the chat. Mr. Zeminski, I believe both a rate cut or no cut and dovish sentiment in the minutes will be good for crypto prices. I would agree with you. I think it's pretty indifferent whether we get that. I think the market has pretty much understood that we probably won't get a market rate cut, but the minutes are really important, right? The minutes are really important. Christina says, go ADA. And what's up, Ape 801? All right, guys, we've reached that portion of the analysis where we're going to pass the mic to Trip. And before we do so, Trip, what are your thoughts on the rate cut today?
Yeah, so we're not expecting any surprises today. It should probably just remain neutral, like they've been saying. So what we're really expecting, or what we're looking for, I should say, is the surprises. If they do say that there is a rate cut, then we're going to have to look at what would that scenario look like on the charts. But otherwise, yeah, we're not really expecting a whole lot, but those surprises are what really counts.
Right. So, and what about the minutes in your experience? I mean, what we were talking about, that I believe actually that those are almost more important than the rate cuts themselves in certain circumstances.
Yeah, definitely. Like Powell talking, we're usually listening for whether he sounds mostly hawkish or if he sounds dovish. So that's going to be another important aspect as well, just to hear what he says.
Right. And so for those that, I mean, I know we have a mixture here on the channel. Mainly it's people who are pretty into the space, but hawkish is more bearish and dovish is more bullish, right? Just to set that straight there.
Right.
AM Lover, I hope what Charles is saying is true because Cardano is 75% of my portfolio. Okay. I get it. I'm a big Cardano fan. It was one of my first bigger investments in the space. But, diversification is powerful. There are a lot of other chains that will do very well as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I think Cardano will do very well this cycle. But again, it's important to have a strategy, right? So know when you want to take profits, know what your goals are. Let's do that this cycle. Maybe you've been here a few cycles and you haven't really had solid goals. Let's do that together this cycle. And stream by stream, we come up with a plan. We help you formulate that plan with the information we're giving you. And then you take it from there, right? So yeah, always great to be here. Well, we always love to have you here, Media Mott, and all of our regulars. Real Ice Bear was #1 today. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. And Trip, yeah. So let's see. Expectations are not lowering rates, and we shall see what his talk sounds like in the minutes to see if we're going to get that rate cut sooner rather than later.
Perfect. Okay, so we can jump into the charts now if you want to bring up those.
All right, let's bring up the charts, guys. Let's see what's happening.
Yeah, we're going to start with Bitcoin dominance again, like usual. So we were talking about this earlier last week as well, that if Bitcoin dominance forms this double bottom on the 1 week 50 MA, then the altcoins probably aren't going to move very much. And that's really what we've been seeing over the past few days is altcoins have been stagnating. They've been slowly drifting lower a little bit as this has been climbing. So right now, it's just a tough time to trade altcoins. I haven't even been posting very many setups in the trading group just because there's a lot of stuff that's been pumping very short term. They get a nice big green candle on like a 2-hour chart, and then it turns into a huge wick just a few hours later. So right now, we're not trying to catch those types of move. We want to catch the trending stuff, right? So we want to see breakouts of big patterns. We want to see long-term support bounces. We want to see breaks above major moving averages like the 1-day 200 MA, which a lot of coins are still stuck below, or they're retesting it right now as well. So on this 4-hour chart, we're watching for this double bottom. I'm going to zoom in this chart a little bit so you can see the bigger picture. Before we had talked about this inverse Adam and Eve double top big pattern here. So short term, we're getting this little bit of a bounce. So if this does break higher and we reclaim this level, that would turn this whole move down here into a bear trap. So a bear trap would be bullish for Bitcoin dominance, which would be bearish for altcoins. The only thing is, too, is when I say bearish for altcoins, if Bitcoin is trending higher at the same time as dominance going up, then it usually carries the market with it. But if dominance is going down while Bitcoin is going up, usually that's a better scenario for altcoins. So right now, if they start both trending higher at the same time, altcoins could still move, but Bitcoin would definitely be more of the focus, and we're looking for a bigger move out of Bitcoin. It's often kind of rare to see dominance pump while Bitcoin's pumping at the same time. But then, yeah, if that does happen, that means there's a lot of capital going into Bitcoin at that moment.
All right, well, we've been waiting for that one.
Right. And the big picture on the dominance chart on the 1 week, this is that 50 MA that we were looking at on the 4-hour chart on the other side. This is the best case scenario for altcoins if this breaks lower. And we haven't seen that break lower yet. We really just have to see what this bounce looks like in the short term. And that's why we've zoomed into the 4-hour chart on the left side here just to see more details. But as it goes right now, it just doesn't look that great for altcoin trading. So we're just focusing on waiting for the right moment to get into a trade. But right now, it just seems like it's we're pushing against the trend at the moment, pushing against dominance, really trying to trade altcoins right now.
Right. And you always want to go with the wave because the trend is your friend. So, trying to go against it it's tough and you get stopped out. It's choppy. It's been tough to do that. So we're just waiting. We're being patient. Right. In the meantime, there might be some range trades or some scalp trades, but we're just keeping you updated here and having a look today. We'll see if that's a catalyst to make a decision one way or the other and start building more structure. But Watchman, I have to say, every time you come into the chat, you make me smile because you got different emojis. Today's a surfer. Yesterday was like a dancer. I like it. It's good vibes. Good vibes. You're reminding me of SoCal. I don't know where you're tuning in from, but if you're in a tropical place, wow. That sounds amazing. And Lover, I'm only hoping for $3 ADA. I'm not greedy. All right, that's good. That's a good sentiment. I think we mapped out the measured move of the double bottom or whatever pattern it was on Cardano Trip on the linear scale. And I think the top of that was around $6. So $3 is the previous all-time high or around there. So yeah, that would be a level of interest for sure.
Right. Yeah, ADA should be fine too if dominance was to pull back a little more. So that's definitely one we're going to keep an eye on as one of our large caps. So Bitcoin here on the 1 week chart, we've been talking about this one constantly. We're still respecting these levels, and that's really the most important thing. Is I wanted to see if this trend line was going to be an important trend line. So now we've had 4 weekly candle closes above this level. This one hasn't really closed yet, but still, it's just the fact that we're still bouncing. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here just so you can see. We're still respecting this trend line overall, and that's the important thing that I'm looking for. I just want to know that this is going to be a catalyst level for which way Bitcoin's going to move. So if it does break to the downside, we're looking for a move down to about 109 to 110,000 for Bitcoin. If it does break to the upside, we have to break above that 1.272 level at about 120,000. So 110,000 is your support. 120,000 is your resistance, and then about 130,000 is your next target. If we do get some bearish news, like if the crypto report is anyway kind of negative, or if the rate cut decision doesn't, or if we get some surprises from the rate cut, it could change the way Bitcoin's moving at the moment. But I don't think it's going to drastically change how this trend is affected, at least in the short term. So we're going to have to keep an eye on how well this trend line is respected over the next few days or the next couple of weeks at the very least.
Ugh, it's like we're just waiting here on pins and needles. What's Bitcoin going to do? And look at this. I mean, could you imagine a day where we're literally talking about $10,000 ranges on Bitcoin? 10,000? I mean, literally in 2024, it was just like $17,000, right? At some point, or was that? Yeah, I think that was the year. Jeez. Like, how could it have grown that fast, that quickly? This is what like the adoption curve, the S curve looks like, right? Exponential growth starts to happen. So $10,000 ranges for Bitcoin. Trip, I want to ask you, what more or less is like that price level of that trend line right now?
Around 116 to 117. It looks like 117 is what's being respected the most as far as the candle body closes, but we have seen a couple of wicks down to as low as 114. This one here at about 115.8. So there's a bit of a range there, but yeah, it looks like 117 seems like to be the most important level if I were to pick a number.
All right. Well, right. So the next question would be, what would we need as far as confirmation that we've been able to hold that line, or that we've actually gone, are going further down?
Sorry, if we're going up or down from here?
The confirmation, like what would we need to see as far as confirmation that actually we're breaking below this trend line? Would that be 1 week body close below the trend line? Like, what would you look for in this scenario?
Yeah. That's exactly it. So you need to see a candle body close on the weekly. I'm going to turn the volume on as well. So it's been hard to get a read on the volume on Binance lately as well. It's just been pretty steady mostly. These weekly candles haven't made much of a difference when compared back to the previous price. I have a weird way of looking at the volume now too, though, because there's been a lot of Bitcoin leaving exchanges. So it might not just be the fact that volume's going down, it's that there's less Bitcoin volume to actually trade. So there's kind of a conflicting amount of data there in that idea. But really, though, yeah, you're looking for a break below and a candle body close on the weekly chart at least.
And what about confirmation to the upside? Like, how many candles do we need to see close on top of this trend line? Like, what are you looking for as far as, are you just waiting for it to break above that 120K?
Yeah, pretty much 120K. We need to turn that into the new floor. So we're looking at $10,000 increments, like you were suggesting earlier with the $10,000 moves. So from 110 to 120 to 130, we just haven't been able to hold above 120 for a while. So it kind of feels similar to when we were back down at 100K and we kept poking above it for a bit, and then we slumped down to 90 and then 80, and then you poke up for a little bit and then it goes down again. So it just seems like we're still struggling at that level. But 120K seems like the psychological resistance that needs to hold, at least for more upside. But yeah, that's the target level that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I like that analogy of it's kind of like 100K where people are like, is it going to become the new norm, or will it not be able to hold that level? So yeah, that's a good way to put it. We have a few more chats here. Johnny Bravo is saying he's cashing out ADA at 420. What a number. What a number. What a lucky number. Jeremy, hey, y'all, happy to be here. Hey, we're happy to have you, Jeremy. I've seen you on a couple of the streams. We love having people join the conversation here. Let's see, Midas Mindset. Can you go over Bitcoin delinking from ETH? Delinking. So decoupling. Is what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, we have an ETH BTC chart. We're going to go into it right after this 2-hour chart on Bitcoin.
Oh, well, there you go. Midas mindset. Let's do it. So Bitcoin 2-hour first, and then we'll go over the ETH versus BTC.
Right, so this is just a zoomed in view on the 2-hour. So this key resistance zone that I have highlighted, this is just, again, that zoomed in view of that 120K resistance that we're looking for. So on the smaller time frames, you can see we've bumped up against it a few times, but haven't been able to break. So when you were asking about that weekly close above this level, we can zoom in to watch that action on this 2-hour chart. So we want to see it break above and then turn this into a place where we bounce instead of a place where we get rejected. So that's really the only thing I'm focusing on right now, is to hold the local point of control, which has been pretty much just weaving around it. It's developing even more volume at this level as well. The point of control is at about 117.9, pretty much 118,000 for that point of control. So yeah, as we just move sideways, we're just building more and more volume. It kind of looks like a accumulation phase still. The one thing I don't want to see is when you get a lot of rounded tops in this area. That could typically be a bearish scenario. I don't really see a lot of roundedness. It just seems pretty equal as far as the top side and downside. All the dips are bought up and all the pumps are sold off. So it's kind of an even struggle so far from what I can see.
All right, so the Bears and the Bulls are neck and neck. And let's see who's going to win for the time being, right?
Right, yeah. We're going to go to the ETH BTC chart. So this is an interesting chart because usually, because of the size of the market cap of Ethereum, you can almost flip this chart upside down and you'll get the Bitcoin dominance chart. So what we're focusing on is that the 50-week MA, 50-week moving average for ETH BTC. ETH is actually above it, and it's above the point of control from the previous range back here from 2018 to about 2021 in April. So that was a very significant level to break above, and we're holding the 50 MA at that same area. So the reason why this is strange a little bit is because ETH does seem like it's outperforming Bitcoin for now. But when you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we're above the 50 MA still. So Bitcoin dominance is above the 50-week. Let me go back to this chart. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is above the 50-week SMA. And then ETH BTC is also above the 50 MA on the weekly as well. So I was trying to find out how could that be in that scenario. And then I looked up the total 3 Bitcoin chart on the weekly log scale. And this is the one that's showing that resistance where we're actually below the 50 MA right now. So when you look at the dominance chart, that's including everything up to Ethereum as far as an altcoin goes. Even stablecoins, I think, are actually still included in that total 3 chart. In the Bitcoin dominance chart. So what we're looking at here is that total 3 needs to break above that 50 MA. And then at the same time this breaks above, we're looking for that break below the 50 MA on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So on the total 3, that's including Ethereum and BNB. BNB just made a brand new all-time high. So it's another large cap coin. So there's a bunch of large caps that are also represented here that are showing that they need to break above this level as well. And that would coincide with that break below opposite, right? The opposite inverse correlation on the Bitcoin dominance chart on the weekly. So there's a couple things we need to see here, really just to see which way Ethereum's going to go. We had posted an ETH USDT chart just recently showing that it's at resistance at the same time. So it's going to have to break that resistance to go any higher. But the way it looks right now, it does look like it's in the very early stages of outperforming Bitcoin. So when you talk about how the flow in crypto usually goes, the model, it starts with Bitcoin pumping first, then it goes down to Ethereum, then it goes into your large caps, then your mids, and then your smalls. So this could be the very beginning of that shift, but we do need to see total 3 break above it as well to get the rest of the market following. So in my opinion, if ETH BTC was to hold this level and we stay above that 50 MA, then you have that golden cross coming in, and then it would be Ethereum season. So at least it would give us an idea of where we are in the market. It means that we could be coming to the end of a cycle because Bitcoin's pretty much done doing most of its move, and now it's flipping into Ethereum, and then it'll flow into large caps and then mids and then smalls.
Interesting. Okay, so we just got a lot of information based on these few charts here that we could be potentially coming into ETH season, which typically happens toward the end of the cycles. Although, like we've mentioned, we could be heading into sort of super cycle. So maybe toward the end of this segment of the cycle, right? And that, we're at the very beginning of that, Midas. So now is the time to start looking at ETH, figuring out if you want to get a position in ETH, then paying attention to the levels we detailed yesterday on the stream, and more importantly, to see what your beloved altcoins are going to do, because they are going to follow if ETH starts to have, a massive outperformance, and that'll probably correlate with Bitcoin dominance going down and having our altcoin season. So really interesting times, and we're on the verge of doing that now. And I just wanted to reflect, actually, I was thinking, like, Gary Gensler, he's like a name of the past, right? The former head of the SEC. But he did us a massive favor during that time in one way, and that he literally like gave us these bear market dirt low prices on XRP, Cardano, all of that. So there was some silver linings in his reign of terror on crypto. But yeah, I was just remembering those times when I was buying the dip for XRP, as they were saying he was getting sued and all that. And we've been through a lot here in crypto, guys. We've been through bumps, hurdles. Nothing can stop us, literally nothing. And now we're on the verge of greatness once again. And we've all been here for that. And that's really, really special. So if you're new here, you dodged a lot of those bullets, but yeah, that's basically what's happened. And they tried to hold us down, and they couldn't. And this is not reversible. This is too big now, right? And all of the institutions are coming to the country, so we're at a very special point in the market and in the world. Watchman says he's in Maryland. Ooh, I would love to go visit Maryland this time of year, but my dream is one day go surf in Hawaii when I'm financially free. All right, well, let's do it. Let's crush our goals, guys. Set those goals and hold yourself don't make them non-negotiable. That's what I call them. These are non-negotiable things that I'm going to do every single day until I reach that goal, because now is go time. 3 to 6 months. Can you do it? I think you can do it. I think you can have the discipline to do that. And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing these streams every day, Monday through Friday. We want to help. We want to help with that. The accountability, the coming back for it, showing up. By the way, surfing in Hawaii is amazing. My good friend used to live there. I would go, and I learned how to surf with the locals there, actually. They taught me there in Waikiki Beach. Kite surfing is cool. Actually, I live next to a beach called Tarifa here in Spain, and supposedly one of the best for kite surfing in Europe. So come visit me here in Spain, guys. That's all I'm saying. Watchmen, you should go right now. Tsunami is coming. Tsunami in Maryland. Oh, no, you're talking about Hawaii. Sorry. I was like, wait, what's going on here? Hawaii. Okay, where are you based, AM the lover? Does that mean you're a morning lover, by the way? Is that what that means? I always read it, and I'm like, what does that mean? Midas, thank you. Yes, no problem. Real Ice Bear, gotta head out for meetings and prep. Oh, thank you for showing up, Real Ice Bear, and being real. You're the first one on every single stream. We love you. Absolutely see you Thursday. You bet. You know it. We might be coming tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. PST, 12:30 p.m. because it seems to be a better time for people. So yeah. Holy moly, says Watchman. All right, guys. I hope you're excited, because I am, and I'm going to let Trip take it away again.
Yeah, so we're just back to this ETH BTC chart on the 1 week. We're talking about the timing and the super cycle idea. So just normally we would look at the cycle ending about 18 months, is it, after the halving? Something like that, right?
Right. Yeah. So buy 6 months before, sell 18 months after.
Right. So that would line up around October, mid to late October, maybe early November. And I've just added a vertical line here just to show you where that date is and how close we are to that. So my question is that it doesn't really fit that this would be the end of the cycle if ETH is just breaking out now from these bottoms, right? So we've hit this bottom once, we've hit this bottom twice. That means this is potentially a double bottom. And at the very short term, we could probably move up to, well, short term relative to the size of a weekly chart. We could still move up to the top of this range here at about 0.084. That's denominated in Bitcoin. So if that move was to happen, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen instantly, right? So it looks like we're going to bleed into the next year of 2026, maybe even 2027. We're going to compare back here to the last time we broke above the 50 MA, and it wasn't just a straight moonshot afterwards. We kind of weaved around it for a little bit. We had little pumps and then a retest a couple of times before it was able to actually take off. So even if we do get that same sort of thing here, just to as a graphical representation, I'm going to add in what this would have looked like back here just to show the comparison. So let me turn this color up so it's more visible. And again, this isn't what I think is going to happen. It's just trying to measure the time frame, right? So the time frame alone says that we're nowhere near the end of this cycle if we get something similar to what happened back here after we saw the break above the 50 MA. So again, it kind of changes the rules a little bit. I've also done a lot of time measurement stuff on Bitcoin. Previously, you could have measured the cycles very equally And if you split them into thirds, they were right on time each time from the past 2 cycles. When I did it this time, the timing was off, and it ended up taking off on the day of the election in November when Trump got elected. So that kind of changed everything about how my time cycles work. And it's like, well, maybe there's a bigger picture going on. So we've covered that in our other videos as well. And we're talking about basically that the 4-year cycle, the scarcity events that happen every time there's a halving, we could be living in a perpetual cycle of that type, right? Where there's constantly Bitcoin being depleted from the markets. There's always seems to be less and less Bitcoin around. So it's not just one event that happens once every 4 years. It's constantly going on month after month after month after month. So I think it could change how the structure has been changing as far as we look at the 4-year cycles that everyone talks about.
Wow, that's super exciting. Guys, you should see these charts that Trip does on the bigger picture. I mean, it would blow your mind. We do have those reserved for the group, but man, just the way that he maps it out is like you really get the idea of how big this could be and the difference that could be playing out here. Dan here says M2 and institutional adoption will likely move us into 2026 Q2 at least. Yeah, I mean that's what these charts are saying. Actually, we've mapped out a lot of charts that show beyond 2026 even. So that's why we're saying potentially into the super cycle sort of phase, right? And that's just what it is. So Mimi, I'm glad to know that you guys are good in Hawaii and you're safe there. Jack, dang, late as always. Good show so far. Oh yeah, we're cooking here, Jack. We are talking markets, Fed rates, and Trip has been kind of like laying out what this cycle could look like and when we could start basically having that mega ETH pump, altcoin season. How long will the season be? That's what we've been discussing. Basically, rate cuts. We've said for all of you who are just turning in that no changes expected. So maybe we'll see some volatility, but maybe we're going to have to wait for a little while, a little longer in this accumulation phase. But these charts, so go watch it back, Jack. You're gonna really like what we talked about before.
Right.
And now we have requests. We're going to cover some charts on requests. Like people have been talking about meme coins in the group as well, and they've been asking us to cover some of those charts. So these are requests from a lot of people in the group that have been asking about it. So we're going to have a look at meme coins, see exactly where we are in that respect, and whether or not that's something we should be looking at right now. Guys, if you do have requests, let us know more toward the beginning of the stream, and we'll maybe be able to accommodate. If not today, then for tomorrow. So yeah, but first we're going to cover these charts from the group, requests from the group.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of people asking about PEPE. We had a couple of trades set up for this, and it's just been rolling over after it's breaking above these resistance levels. So it was a short-term move after we broke above this previous point of control resistance here at about, these tiny numbers, 0.00001287. So once PEPE broke above that level, we were expecting more upside to come, but it was actually just a fairly short move. And then we broke below that level again and had a bearish retest at that same level. And now we've just been trending lower. And currently we're sitting below the 4-hour 200 MA. This looks kind of like a head and shoulders pretty much. It looks like it broke to the downside. There wasn't a ton of volume on that break lower though. So I'm thinking that there could be a bigger structure here. I've drawn this lower trend line as our local support. So it started down here with multiple touches that it was riding for a while. And now we're finally getting that second chance to test this level or this trend line to see what kind of reaction we get here. So in my opinion, it could be a time to watch PEPE for an entry. You're going to want to zoom into lower time frames down here. So we're going to take a look and see what the 30-minute chart looks like. And in this trend, we're still making lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. So when you see something change in this area where maybe you get a higher high over here that's higher than this high, and then your next low comes down that's higher than this low, that's trying to signal that there's a trend change happening. So in the short term, we need to see a couple more things as far as the lows and the highs look like to consider entry into PEPE to see if we can catch a support entry off of this lower trend line. But again, right now, it's really about patience. The FOMC meeting coming out as well. There's going to be a few things that are going to influence how this trend changes over the next day or two. But it's definitely one to keep an eye on. We're closer to oversold levels. Actually, let's go back up to the 4-hour again, just to show the oversold levels on the RSI. So RSI alone does suggest that we're ready to start trending higher again. Even the Stoch RSI, actually, this is just the Stoch. Same thing, you're in oversold levels already. So it's already cooled off significantly. We're looking for that bounce, and we're starting to get the very early signs of it so far with Pepe. The next one we're going to look at to compare to is pretty much the granddaddy of the meme coins, is Doge. So we broke above this level previously. This was a major resistance over here from the left. This is from about May, pretty much the month of May is this resistance zone. So after you broke above it, we're able to hit a new local high at about 28 cents. And then since then, we've come back down to test that same support level. So now we're looking for the similar thing to Pepe, where you'd want to zoom in here to see what kind of structure you get. We're going to take a look at the 30-minute chart just the same. And most memes look very similar. I mean, right now, if I were to put these side by side, you can see that Pepe and Doge pretty much look the same at this point, and try to line them up. Right, so you have almost the same structure. So the same thing back here, you're looking for a higher high and then a higher low if that happens. Same thing with Doge, you're looking for a higher high and then a higher low. Potentially this turns into an inverse head and shoulders idea. So we're getting close to that confirmation. It's coming. If we keep putting in lower lows, then we're just going to ignore the trade idea and just wait for that signal, or try to find something else to trade. Maybe it's not meme season at this moment. So there could be other opportunities coming, and we're going to try to find those in the trading group. But right now, we've been avoiding posting setups like we had mentioned because most of the stuff is trending lower. Our leverage group often does a lot of short trading as well. So when the market's not so choppy, they'll have better trades for those shorting opportunities if you guys want to trade those bearish setups. I mean, they're there. But otherwise, yeah, as far as the spot groups go, we don't use any leverage in the spot group. It's mostly just for long setups. So we're still waiting on the side, being patient, and just waiting for that moment to attack into the markets, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you broke this down, because you'll see on a lot of channels and maybe a lot of, different X accounts and things that meme season's coming raging back. It's here now. The ETH beta plays are Pepe and Doge. Like, let's pile in. And I wanted to address that on today's show because it's not always the case. And we want to make sure that we give it to you how it is, right? Like, just, there might be better opportunities. It might not be meme season yet. There might be other narratives that are taking control. ETH might not be ready to pop yet. So we want to make sure that we keep you up to date as possible. Of course, in the group, we're around the clock doing updates. In fact, we have a few chats here, and I saw one of them was by Baby XRP. When is the FOMC meeting? I mean, that's got to be in like 30, 40 minutes, right, Trip? I mean, that's coming up very, very soon.
Yeah, about a half an hour now.
Half an hour. Okay. So that's coming up in about a half an hour, and we will be ending the stream, but we will be keeping our group updated as it happens. So guys, like, I just want to remind you, if you like this analysis, smash the like. We would really appreciate that. That does help us grow the audience and help us reach more people. And we really have loved the group that we've cultivated here. It makes us so happy to jump on here every single day with you. So thank you for that. And yeah, I want to address a few more comments before we go on, but mainly that, like, we're not going to come on here and say, like, it's time for meme coin season, like, load up the bags. Like, Trip is going to tell you how it is exactly, to give you the best information possible to succeed, right? And the truth, and keep it real. And this is what's happening now. There may be better opportunities still before memes, right? So let's just keep an eye on that. So I'm just going to go back here in the comments. Let's see here, render. Okay, we might have time to do one last chart on render. We'll come back to that in a moment. Did you discuss the White House report? Yeah, Jack, actually, we said earlier, there's all this talk about how we're going to get details on the Bitcoin strategic reserve, but there is no news, no reportable news, not that I've been able to find, and I've digged.
I think it's just come out, actually. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Well, I just saw something pop up, but I haven't had a chance to dig in to see what that was. But I think they're starting to release something.
Okay. So it's just now coming up. We're on the stream as it's happening. I could try to look for that. If you guys have an article on it or you have seen any news, you will pull that up. Cassius, what's up? Thank you for liking it. Cassius is a homie. Really good rapper, by the way, and trader. So go sign up to his channel and subscribe. I always have a lot of fun with Cassius. But yeah, where was I? Now I'm at, the White House crypto report, right? The strategic Bitcoin reserve. We got to check that out. So that's coming. I guess the news just hit the scene. We're going to try to find it. Alt season or no alt season, XRP and HBAR will change lives. Hey, Crypto Stacks, I'm right there with you. We are trading XRP for the trading competition, but we're also, a lot of us are just trying to trade XRP to accumulate more XRP, right? Like that, like Trip and I discuss this daily. What is your goal? Do you want to make more dollars and then roll that over? Do you want to accumulate more of that beloved asset? Yeah. So we've got bags that we literally trade to just accumulate more. And Jack says, I like the analysis. Great job, Trip. Yeah, absolutely. Trip is one of a kind for sure. Magnus, what's up? Coming up with the emojis. I love it. I love it. How you doing, Theta Investor? I thought I was waiting for you. I'm glad you stopped in. Cassius, XRP to the moon. Cassius does a lot of reporting on XRP too, guys, by the way. So go and follow his channel on YouTube and X. And you also get an additional, like, you know, fun crypto wrap, which is amazing. And I can't wait. I hope to see you again soon, Cassius. I don't think I'll be able to make it to Rare Evo this year, unfortunately, but I saw that you were hosting the Crypto Influencer Awards. So it's going to be way better than usual, I think, because you're bringing it in hot and all the energy. So yeah, that's exciting. Michael, I won't be at Rare Evo unless something drastic happens. I think I'll be heading to the other side of the world, but I will miss it because last year's was actually really good. And this year is set to be even better. Trip the Jedi Master. I like that, Trip. How do you like that? Should that be your new name? He's a spaceman though. He's the Space Jedi Master.
Right. Yeah. It's we'll stick with the spaceman, I think, for now. But I like the name. It sounds nice.
Yeah, Spaceman knows, man. Love from South Africa. Oh, that's cool. I love hearing like that we have got so many international people in the channel. Amazing channel. Thank you so much. Theta to the moon. Oh, yeah. We always say we're going to perpetually be covering Theta literally almost every stream till the end of time because we have too many Theta people in here. So Cassius says, yes, he'll be hosting. I don't know. Drop us like, let's get some of your music going, Cassius. That would be fun. Report release, 168 pages. Oh, my goodness. We might have to report on that tomorrow. Wow, at least they did it, right? Because I was wondering, like, why aren't they doing it? Why are they just saying this? And why, I mean, is this going to be like, no, like certain files that were on certain desk and never got released? No, we don't want that. We want that details out there. So next time I got to see if we can film content. Hey, yeah, you should join one of our streams, Cassius. Like, that'd be fun. That'd be really fun. Let's definitely program it in whenever you're available. That'd be cool. Where were we? So I think we were going to, and I do want to address one other thing that I saw here in the chat from Dr. Doom. Pure meme coin with zero utility. I think you're talking about Doge. Yeah, Doge is just symbolic. I mean, Doge flies when retail starts coming in. I mean, that's what it is, right? And I saw Andrew said Pengu was that token. I think Pengu's going to crush it this cycle. I mean, you got Wall Street talking about it. Luca is just brilliant, right? Like Luca Netz, the founder of Pudgy Penguins. So I'm very, very bullish on Pengu. I got a bag of that. But yeah, Doge, I think will just do its thing as always, right? Like when retail piles in, they get excited, and Doge is what Doge is. T-Bear's market cap is approximately 15K. Oh, wow, my goodness. An ultra micro, to say the least. Wow. Okay, I do want to address this one thing, and that was that somebody, I think it was you, Dr. Doom, brought up venture. So I did talk about venture, VNTR, Venture Mind AI, a long time ago when I believe it was one of the Theta community members. I forget his name now. One of the bigger Theta community members put it on my radar. He asked if I could cover it, and I did. And basically their goal was to become still is to become the Canva of AI, to make it drag, drop, very easy. And they were partnered with Theta. And so people were really excited about it because Theta was going to power like the robotics part of it. So I actually got on a call with the co-founder, and he's really cool. He's in Austin. He says they have a subscription model in the physical world, which is like revenue generating. And they've also got the Web3 side of it. So there's a lot of bullish things happening. When I reported on it, it was like at 0.007, I want to say. I haven't even looked this up, so I don't know, but it actually did pump quite a bit. After I first talked about it, it is an ultra low cap. It launched on CDFI. So, like you got to take profits if you're not going to be in this for the very, very long haul, right? It's just a project that's just in its infancy stage. So I would say either have patience, or if you're going to play low caps, then take profits when they're up and hedge your bets. But I still hold a bag. So that's just what that is. There's no mystery there. I can hold another interview with them if you want me to ask for updates. I'm more than willing to do that. So I just wanted to address that, set that straight. Certain files, says Jack. Ha ha ha. Yes, I'm just trying not to get filtered here on YouTube or X'd out or whatever it is. So Dr. Doom, Megan is the best. Well, thank you. I like that. I really am trying to support all you guys. And when I make videos on certain coins, I just want to put them on your radar. I made a lot of videos about Proppy back in the day. I'm an advisor for Proppy, and we went from about 45 cents to about $4, I want to say. It was an incredible, phenomenal run. And I was involved in it. I could see what was happening, and I'm still ultra bullish on Proppy. So I like to report on things that I've been involved with or that I've talked to the founders about, and also that I hold myself because I'm bullish on them, right? And that's just it. So that is what the game is here, and period. So if you do want that venture interview, let me know, and I'll try to make it happen. And we'll see what the update is. Can DOG be the new Doge? We talked a lot about DOG in the day, didn't we, Trip? I think we posted that quite a bit in the group.
Yeah, we had a couple good trades out of it.
Buy more Theta. You know it, Magnus. You know we're buying more Theta. I'm buying more Theta. I'm so bullish on Theta. I will be for a very long time. And T-Fuel. T-Fuel is highly on my radar now. I'm thinking about increasing my T-Fuel bag because that pumps usually more than Theta when the Theta ecosystem tokens take off. So Cassius, I think it's the real one. You are too, Cassius. Like, we met at a fintech conference, Money 2020, years ago, and it was good vibes all the way. So Proppy, you know what's up. Theta Snark, $5. I'm Theta chart. Is that what you're saying, Magnus? $5 is in the cards during the next move if it breaks above the 200 AMA. And we measured out that measured move on Theta quite a bit. I mean, we've done the Theta chart quite a bit. If you guys want to see that in the next episode, maybe we'll pull that up. Anti-social maniac making an appearance on the stream to be social. I like it. Just 100. He doesn't talk a lot, but what he says is really cool. And Cassius, cheers to you, man. I got to get you some ATH vodka so we can officially cheers, right? To all-time highs in life. In fact, we got to do a rap song about ATH. We got to get that going. So let's see if we can commission that. He's saying Theta soon to $5. All right, cool. Thank you, Theta Investor. I really, really appreciate that. We're both trying, Trip and I and our whole team, to bring as much value as possible. And we want to crush it this cycle. That's just it. We want to crush it, and we want to do it as a team. We want to be here for you every single day to help make that happen. All right. So let's do this, guys. Let's focus. Laser focused, eyes on the prize. And to wrap this up, I think we're going to go over this render chart that was requested. And let's do that.
Yeah, render. So someone asked about this, I think maybe a week or two ago. So we were closer down to the bottom at the time, and we've had a bit of a push up to this resistance level. I've drawn a point of control from the far left side of the chart back here in November of 2023, all the way to the right. So that's exactly where we hit this roof locally recently, and that's at about $4.58 or so. And then what I'm looking for here, the next thing I usually do is look for the one day 200 MA moving average. And I wanted to see how close this was to see if we had any confluence with that point of control. And we were able to pop above it for a brief moment, but not able to hold above it quite yet. We're still looking at a golden cross scenario if this 50 MA does move above the 200, but we definitely need to see render break above this resistance at the point of control. I've also added the fibs here from this previous high down to this bottom, and that's kind of lining up with the 0.272. So what I've done, I just draw this white bar here, this gray bar. It's just a range that we need to see. So we need to see a break above this range, and then we're looking for a test of $5.48, and that would be the neckline of this double bottom idea. And then we can start talking about the upper targets. So really quickly, though, I'm just going to erase everything, and I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to take away my moving averages. Let's go down to like the 4-hour chart to see what this looks like. So then from here, I'm going to start with my new fib on the bottom to the top, and I'm going to extend these lines over to the right. So I want to see which levels we're supporting here. Now the interesting thing is that we were talking about on it was on the PEPE chart, how we're looking for a higher high and then a higher low to consider a trend change idea. And if you look at what render's doing over here on this bottom, if you consider this your previous high and this your low, we've now made a higher high above this previous high. So now this low is at about $2.60. If render is able to hold anywhere in this area above this previous low, then that would be a higher low, which could turn this into a big buy signal. It could be ready to pop fairly soon, in my opinion. This is a 4-hour chart. So when I say soon, it's still a matter of days, maybe even a couple of weeks still before we see that move happen. But this is what you want to pay attention to, is that now you've put your higher high in. That's the first clue you get that there's a trend change trying to happen. So if you do get that higher low over here, that's where you'd want to start scaling into this trade for the upside movement. Really, we're just looking for the opposite of what happened on this side of the chart. So if you take this chart and consider this is a reversed image of what's happening on this side, then the same thing happened. Once you put in that low, and then you put in that high that was higher than the previous high, then you put a low that was higher than the previous low, and then your uptrend started. So from there, that's where it started continuing to the upside. So over here, you're looking for the same thing in reverse. You're just looking for that high that's higher than this high, and then a low that's higher than this low. So we could be, like I said, really close to this reversing to an uptrend pretty soon.
All right, so we're right there. Like I said, now we have the opportunity to average in on this dip, make moves, make plans, map out the coins you want to, get for the long term, and also want to look at to trade. We will be updating you with the best trading setups in the group around the clock. So again, guys, the group is in the description below. You get a 10% off for signing up under Crypto Megan for the Crypto Megan community, and we'd love to have you all there. We've been having a lot of new members lately, and we're crushing it, man. And we will continue to crush it. So whether you're tuning in here, every day for free, or you're joining the group with us, we love you just the same. We really enjoy being here with you on these streams, and we're literally going to say goodbye right before the action happens, but we will be back on tomorrow to analyze what happened. And just brace for impact. We might have a little volatility, but now you know exactly what to look for. You know how to do it. You start on the higher time frames, you zoom into the lower time frames, and you take it from there. Cool, calm, and collected, like you are in this channel, because we're all just chilling and making moves and looking at the charts and making good decisions, right? So we're really excited for tomorrow, guys. Happy Wednesday. Trip, any closing thoughts?
Really just waiting for the news today, but just focus on trend change ideas. I mean, you can make this really easy and take out a bunch of the guesswork just by looking at how these swings fill in, right? So these lows and these highs, these are really the most important part of a trend. You just want to make sure that these stay making higher highs and higher lows for this uptrend to continue. For back here, for example, after you got to this top, this next high was a lower high. And then what happened? You started to see a downtrend. So it's really simple. At this point, we're doing the same thing. You have this high and then a lower high, and now you're making lows and lower lows. So you're looking for that trend change idea in this area. I think we talked about it before too, where if you look at the minor trend would be all the tiny movements, right? All this stuff. Okay, all these quick little tiny moves. That's your minor trend. It's useful if you're trading the smaller time frames for really short-term moves, but the important thing that you're looking for is that the lower time frames will always lead into the higher time frames. So when you start to see changes on your lower time frame stuff, it means that it could be the beginning of a trend change on your next trend higher. So it goes from minor to intermediate to primary. So really right now we're trying to focus on what the minor trend is doing and looking for changes here to initiate the kickstart of the uptrend on your higher time frame trends. Ugh. Gets confusing, I know, when you start labeling it like that, but that's really what you got to look for. There's three trends that are always working together, and the smaller stuff always leads into the bigger stuff.
Wow. These are Trip's tips, guys. I mean, this is the juice. This is where it's at. The mirror images, all the things you don't see potentially on other channels. Trip has a different way of analysis, and it's really, really cool. And he's sharing that a lot of times here on the stream, but there's much more even in the group. So guys, we hope to have you sign up. Cassius, we hope that you tap in more often for sure. Let's do it. Everyone go and check out his channel for sure. Dr. Doom is here giving alpha on 3 meme coins on Theta. So T-Beard, Dogzilla, and King. Okay, with 93 billion King. Okay. Probably none of them will make it, but if they do, almost nobody knows about them right now. That's true. The Theta ecosystem is highly under the radar. So if it does start to catch on, they could do some multiples. But again, yeah, meme coin trenches are dangerous. If you want to play there, you can, but just know that is highly risky. And just proceed accordingly, right? And have a good time. And shout out to Trip. Yes, shout out to you, Trip. Thank you for being here, guys. We've had an incredible stream. So much fun with you today. Yeah, Jack, go check that out. Take notes, guys. Take some notes. Show up tomorrow with your coffee, your popcorn, your cocktail, whatever suits you, right? I think tomorrow we'll do 9:30 a.m. PST, as it seems to be a good time. And we'll talk about what happened for the market rate cuts. And we'll see what happens. It's literally about 20 minutes now. So we're going to let you go. Brace for impact. Have a phenomenal day, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.